Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think all of us have sometimes been aware of couples who have been together their whole lives, and then in what seems like an incredible series of events, both of them in very close order will pass away. And I want to adjourn today's meeting in memory of a couple that did exactly that. Raymond and Ethel Raffesberger. They passed away within just literally less than a week from one another. Raymond passed away on March 3rd, just shy of his 86th birthday, and Ethel passed away on March 7th at the age of 86. Raymond and Ethel were married for 65 years, but had an even longer romance. Edie, as Ethel was called, was one of 10 children born in a farmhouse her father had built by hand, carved out of the northern Wisconsin wilderness as an immigrant from Pomerania, Germany. She had graduated from Clayton High School, where she was a cheerleader, a trombone player in the band, and an all-around fireball. Her colorful red hair and even more flamboyant personality were never forgotten by anyone who ever met her, and certainly not by Ray, who actually attended a nearby rival high school, Turtle Lake. Ray was the fourth of 5 children, also born on his family's farm near the village of Almena. While life was immensely hard during the Great Depression on both of their farms, Ray liked to brag that his farm had electricity long before Edie's. World War II was raging when Ray dropped out of high school at age 17 and enlisted in the U.S. Navy. He was discharged in 1946 after the war, and he returned home to Wisconsin. And he rekindled his romance with Edie, and they were married in 1947. Ray began school in Chicago at Chicago Technical College. And to make ends meet, Ray worked nights at the Chicago docks, and Edie worked at a variety of jobs. With a BS in mechanical engineering, Ray and Edie left Chicago, but before arriving in San Diego, they moved first to Minnesota, then to Albuquerque, then to Los Alamos, New Mexico, and finally on to San Diego. Ray worked on the Bikini Atoll project for many of the same engineers who worked on those first atomic bombs before a new engineering challenge beckoned. And they moved the family in 1954 to San Diego, where Ray began work as an aerospace engineer with Convair General Dynamics. Rising through the ranks, Ray moved on to become the vice president at Straza Industries in El Cajon, and then moved again after 2 years to Rohr Industries in Chula Vista. At Rohr, he rose to become vice president of the Rail Transit Division and was responsible for manufacturing and installing the BART transit cars in the Bay Area and for the public transit system cars in Washington, D.C. During these years, they lived in La Mesa, California, and participated in all the usual activities for their boys: Cub Scouts, PTA, Little League, and others. Along the way, Ray became a licensed general contractor, and he built 2 spectacular homes in Del Mar. He patented a fuel valve which greatly reduces industrial engine emissions. He consulted with several San Diego manufacturers, and on top of all that, he learned to fly his own twin-engine plane. Edie became a successful residential real estate agent and later a licensed broker. The couple is survived by their son Glenn and his wife Madeline, their son Wayne and his wife Kay, also known to you as Kay Hobson, the group finance director for our community services group, and also a grandson, Ray. They were predeceased by their son Michael, and always constant was their love for each other, for their family, and for their country. They are going to be missed by a great number of friends and by a community which benefited greatly for their efforts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor.